So, hello everyone. Thanks for jumping on the call today, and thanks for having me on. I'm more than happy to help any way that I can. But my name's Lee. I'm the director here of Retail Strategic Partnerships Resale Division as well for $99 Social. I've been on as a director here for about 3 years now. Prior to that, I did some contract work for Tony Robbins, SEO and SEM Business Breakthrough Department. I was in those divisions as a senior sales tech advisor. Prior to that, I was the VP of sales for an online lead generation company for about 5 years. We focused on real estate lead generation, digital marketing, that for mortgage brokers as well. So very familiar with how those processes work. I've been in digital marketing since 2003 and then very heavily right around 2009. My background was actually in real estate. I went to college to be an architect, and I had no idea that I'd be doing anything like this. At the time that I was in college, this didn't exist. So it was just one of those progressions that you go through when digital marketing really started to take over the market segment. Traditional marketing, it still works, but it just wasn't working as effectively because even though you had a website, it's like, what do you do with it? And then once the search engines really started to move forward with the different types of algorithms that they have set in place so they can get found more easily, we really started to focus more on that side. So my strategy was being a mortgage guy, my strategy was to figure out how to generate leads for real estate agents online, just simply give those leads to realtors so we could then do the financing on the homes. Well, in the crash back in 2007 and 8, things really moved in a different direction. Fortunately for me, I was able to take some time off, and I became a student of digital marketing and really focused in on it, which kind of led me to where I'm at here. So $99 Social, we've been around for about 5 years now. The first couple of years, we really cut our teeth making sure that we had all of our systems, processes in place before we really went full steam ahead and rolled this out. So how we kind of came about is very similar to selling SEO. We started to look at the breakdown of the actual structure of what was going on. We quickly found that social media was very similar to SEO. The networks have built-in algorithms that they use. So what we were able to do is find a way to generate unique, specific content and post on those particular business pages. Business pages network page. So what happens here is we're in the business of creating content for the most part and pushing that information out to those pages, keeping the content relevant and fresh. It's very similar to web pages. It's got to be relevant and fresh and consistent, which is really what we focus on here at $99 Social. Now, I know that we've been working with Agora here for a little while now, and we can start to see some traction being pulled in there. So I'm not sure how well you folks are versed on what we do and how things are, but I'm more than happy to kind of give you an overview of all the packages that we offer and kind of what's entailed with the process when you sign a client up.
Yeah, Lee, I think that would be great. I definitely want to jump into the packages. Could you maybe talk just a little bit about $99 Social, just to kind of as a company, your guys' vision, just kind of your goals and what you do on a literally a day-to-day basis, because I know you guys are daily posting for probably thousands of business owners. So maybe you'd talk a little bit more about 99 Social, and then we can definitely jump into those packages.
Yeah, absolutely. So $99 Social, like I mentioned, we've been around for a few years now, and we're just identifying a market segment. All of us here, we're all online marketers, and before I got involved this heavily in the digital side of it, I was running a lot of web-based forums, very similar to Craigslist, but they were more localized. So one would be like golf community networks, another would be car parts, accessories, motorcycles. I used to race cars as a hobby. So whenever you would modify cars, you would have these extra parts. So when you go to sell the car, so you'd be able to sell those secondhand because when you traded them in, they don't give you any dollar amount for that. So I was involved heavily with that. And then when social media came around, it was very, very similar to that. So we started to identify a market segment. And you go, is there a need for this? Yes, there is. How does it work? How do you define what it is? So for us, initially, we knew there was a market segment, but we didn't really set any initial aspirations of goals at that time because we wanted to figure out how it worked. So once we figured out how it worked, we went ahead and said, okay, listen, here's what we've got to do. We've got to roll this out on a larger scale because these businesses, even though they're posting on social media and they know the importance of it, 99% of them are doing it incorrectly. The ones that are doing it correctly, they're not doing it frequently enough. So it's a combination of things. So with us here now, when I first started here 3 years ago, we only had about 100 clients or so, and we've serviced literally thousands upon thousands of businesses globally now for the last 3 years. We're on a rapid rate of expansion, and a lot of that has to do with just the platform of social media and the changing technology that's involved within it. Now, a lot of people think that, social media, it's like this wave and, we're at the top of it. We're nowhere near the top of it. Right now, we're actually in the middle of it, right? And people say the old thought process is they say, well, you want to make sure that you start in the earlier stages of it and then get out on the high side of it. That's actually incorrect because the lower part of the wave, that's where all the failure occurs. So you want to make sure you want to get into the middle of it, which is smack dab right where we are now. Now, the company is owned by an investment group that also owns other SaaS-based businesses, and these guys are completely cutting edge. So we do a lot of inside referrals to other products and services that the other SaaS-based businesses offer as well. So that's a whole nother conversation for another day. I don't want to bore you with that. But, our goal now is to expand as rapidly and take on as many clients as humanly possible because as the trends go, you don't want to get left behind in that mix. So currently right now, we have the resale division, which is consistent of myself, and then I don't want to say my right-hand man, but he's my go-to guy. His name's Dragon. He's our relationship reseller manager. I hired him about a year ago. The guy is just phenomenal with all the processes that we have. He knows the ins and outs. He can answer literally any question that you have. He first started working with us in the sales side of it. He was helping me with some initial lead generation on LinkedIn. So we worked on that project together, and I just saw that he brought a lot of value. So he then became a content writer. Now, every person that's worked here, they all become content writers first. Now, our content writers, they go through a very extensive 7-point training system before they're even assigned an account, and they have to pass tests along the way. Now, all of our writers are also U.S.-based, by the way. I know that can be a lot of sticky. A lot of our competition, they simply outsource it to overseas companies. And we've tried that. I've tried that before I worked here. And even though maybe the spelling is good, but it's just the grammatical structure of the sentencing that you can tell right away that they're outsourcing it. And that's a big turnoff for U.S.-based businesses. Canada, too, even U.K., we've got customers there, and even in Australia. It's very evident when you see those types of posts. So he started out in that area and then moved over to support and understood that. Then he became the resale relationship manager, and he works hand in hand with me here. Then on the other side, we have our operations team, which is headed up by Heather Hart. She's the operations manager. She oversees the day-to-day operations of content creation, curation, oversees the other managers in those departments as well. Anne Marie is our content manager. She is the manager for all the content writers, which I think right now we've got about 30 or 40 of them on staff. And those are the ones that she maintains a daily relationship with to make sure that the content and the processes are being followed through. Our support team is headed up by Nicole Dinkle. Nicole is actually the sister of the co-founder, and she's been here since day one. And then we also have Kyle, who's also another support member here. So when you guys deal with us on this side, you're not dealing with in-between transient folks. You're dealing with people in main. We eliminated that line, that ladder, if you will, the corporate structure. So here you're only dealing with people who have the ability to make decisions and help you with your questions to get you where you need to be and your client with in the fastest amount of time possible. So on this side, what we offer is the most solid support team that you can find. And just believe me, that's something that I'm sure that you guys hear all the time. But I've never worked with a better team. I've been an entrepreneur in sales and marketing for over 25 years. I have not worked with a better team than what we have here, which is a testament to our fast growth. Like I said, we first started 5 years ago. I came on board 3, and we had 100 clients, and we literally have thousands upon thousands that we service every single day here. And we really strive to be better than anyone else. Just a couple things about our packages, too. We offer a 14-day money-back guarantee on our daily postings. You won't find that anywhere else in the industry. And then we also offer no setup fees unless it's going to be page creation. Then also We don't have contracts here. So these are things that you can use in your kind of advantage to push the client over to at least signing up with us. A lot of times the sale is made very simple. If you've got someone that you're dealing with, when you can just say, just give it a try for 14 days to make sure it's going to be a good fit. It's very simple to sell, and these businesses, they know they need it. Now, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the updated algorithm changes, but Facebook just had a really big one that happened last week. So we've already adjusted for that. We adjusted for it before the news actually came out. So again, we are always one step ahead of what's going on before most people even find out about it.
Thank you, Lee. And I can also personally contest that. I mean, I know I've emailed with you, but on the phone with you before in the past. Akil, Nicole, many of those folks that you mentioned, I've worked with them personally, and so has Melissa. And I definitely can support you when you say you guys have a great support team. You feel that, I recognize that. I see it when I work with you guys all the time, and I know the customers that are on your platform are happy. And one other thing I want to venture to say is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I do know that you guys do some form or some level of white labeling. So I have heard from a little bird that you guys are pretty dominant force in the social media space, but it isn't always your guys' brand that people are seeing. So it's very likely that there are a number of clients out there that are actually using your guys' platform, but just don't realize you guys are. So you guys are fairly large, and I know you guys work with a lot of other partnerships and things like that as well. That's correct?
Yeah, that is correct. The resale division, our white label resale division, that is literally our bread and butter. When we first started, we set this up not to sell as a retail side, which we do have that, but it was primarily set up as a white label resale apparatus. So it's not a surprise when I hear people say, well, I looked at this company, they offer services that are very similar to yours, but they're charging 3 times as much. Why is that? Well, you're always going to have that. And in a lot of cases, it is simply us that's doing the actual work, and it's a marketing company that is white labeling the services underneath their brand. A lot of times what they'll do is they will bundle it inside of their own packages and offer those as well. So it would be someone who would be a web designer, or maybe someone who does ongoing SEO, or someone who does Google Map placements, or someone who does graphic design. And these marketing agencies, web agencies, they have already a stream base of customers, and they say, do you guys do social media? And they say, yeah, you know what, let me learn about this. So what they try to do is they try to learn to do it, and they attempt to do it themselves. And what happens is they quickly come to the realization that they literally don't have time for it. Social media posting is very time consuming. It's extremely tedious. It takes a lot of time. So they get overwhelmed once they get 1 or 2 or 3 clients, and they're trying to do daily postings. And in most cases, they don't even do that because they just don't have the manpower or the creativity to do it, and it's out of their set, where we're specifically trained for that. So just briefly on our white labeling system, we do offer that service. So a marketing company or an individual can come to us, and they can now offer our products and services white labeled underneath their own brand. So when someone comes on as a white label reseller, they have access to the reseller dashboard, which will allow them to upload clients. There's also a downloadable section. The profile questionnaire is housed there, how to grant access. I've embedded some videos about how to sell the product, and believe me when I tell you this, I've sold literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of our products all over the world, probably more than all of our resellers combined. So the material that's found in there that's sales and marketing related is direct result off of my efforts going out there and figuring out this works, this doesn't, this works, this doesn't, and eliminating the things that don't work. So it's absolutely streamlined with what you're getting. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is the best way to go about this. And that's from prospecting, how to get leads, how to target your niche, how to identify what their needs are, how to sell the product, how to sell follow-up, how to upsell them, how to get them into larger packages. So all of that is housed inside of that reseller dashboard. Now also, and it continues with that, you also get access to our posting platform. Our posting platform is our scheduling queue, much like a Hootsuite. So the way our system works is once we've got a client on board, they fill out the profile questionnaire, which is literally the most important piece of the whole system that we have. So that's going to dig in, and it's going to ask about the company, the vision, the product, the service, the value proposition, who's the target audience that we're trying to reach, what type of content to create, certain types of content to avoid. What type of online personality or voice do you want to have? Do you want to be jovial? Do you want to be informative? Do you want to be educational? So you go through systematically and select these different things out, and then if you're doing Facebook ad campaigns, it goes into a larger targeting apparatus that's attached to that, which starts to drill down on who is the actual person that is more likely to respond to the ads that we're creating for those particular ad campaigns on those timelines. So once we have that information, it's scheduled and signed into one of our content writers. They begin creating content, and then the content is pushed over to that queue. Now, with that queue, all that information is due into that posting platform on a Wednesday for the upcoming Sunday to Sundays postings, okay? Now, you have the ability to go in and you can pull the information. You can export it if you've got a customer who wants to review it first. You can also edit it. You can add photos. You can change the content. And then the most important part of this is that you have the ability to run performance metric reports with this. And this is something that not a lot of the resellers do, and for what reason I don't know, but it's extremely important to go back and figure out, gauge the audience, what their level of participation is. So let's just say one day we had a post of certain types of content, we got likes on that, and comments and shares. Then we had some posts, and maybe the photo was of a dog or a baby or a salad or whatever it is. And then you get more responses and more interaction with the audience. So then we start to look at and strategically break it down. So what does the audience, what do they respond better to? And with that information, we can then go back to the relationship manager and look at it and go, okay, so here's what we need to do. We need to make more posts like this on these days and less posts like this, and really start to stream the content that we're creating so we're getting maximum efficiency from the audience themselves via their participation rate, which we can gauge off the metrics.
Oh, that's awesome, Lee. Hey, I wanted to bring up the white labeling to kind of drive home a point was we obviously opted not to go that route, and there's good reason. We believe that 99 Social has a very, very strong brand. And to clarify, $99 Social is doing all support. Everything that Lee's been talking about, they do it. I know he mentioned some resellers opt to kind of handle that on their own. We know that they're the professionals. We want to leave that in their hands. They're going to do the best job for our clients. But he had mentioned, some resellers will white label and sell it for, 2 times, 3 times what $99 Social is actually offering it for. We've done a little bit of the exact opposite. And Lee, this actually may be a little bit of new news to you. I don't know if Akil filled you in on the packages, but according to Akil, this is something that he's never done before with anybody else. But we do have standard discounts on their packages, so the core plan, the growth plan, and the enterprise plan. So their core offer, hence the name $99 a month, so $99 Social, we're offering it here for $5 off, so about 5%, so $94 a month. And then their growth plan normally is $299 a month, and we're offering that for $280. And then their big boy plan, the enterprise plan, is normally $499 a month, and we're offering that for $470. But what we've done also in those packages, and this is the part that I wasn't sure if Akil's brought you up to speed on, but in the packages, what we're doing right now on the social starter package and the enhanced social package, that includes the core package. So it's 50% off of the normal $99 rate. So $49.50 is what the customer will pay the first month, and then it goes to our $94 plan. We don't yet have a plan that includes the growth or the enterprise plan, but when we do introduce one of those packages, it'll actually be $50 off the first month, and that's the part that I'm not sure if Akil told you about, because he said he's never done any sort of big discounts like that with the growth and enterprise plan. So I'm talking a little bit out of turn here because we don't have a package that includes the growth of the enterprise, but once we do, I just want all of you guys to know that that first month will be $50 off of what we normally sell it for. So normally it's $280, it would be $230 in the package the first month. Enterprise normally $470, it would be $420 the first month. So there's going to be a pretty good value from a dollar standpoint that we're going to be able to provide back too. So just wanted to share that all with you, and then just kind of address the point why I asked about that white labeling, because we decided not to. We did something a little bit different, and we're offering it for a lower price, not a higher price than what you could actually get at $99 social. So with that being said, Lee, would you mind taking a few minutes and going over the three different plans, which is the core, the growth, and the enterprise? And obviously the pricing, I think I pretty much just addressed that. But could you talk about the value and the features and the benefits that you get with each plan, and maybe even tell us what your favorite plan is or what you think is the best value?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was aware of that. When you had got me in contact with another one of your colleagues, I discussed that with Akil. So yeah, I was absolutely on the same page with that.
Perfect.
So yeah, no, it all works out. So we've got a few different plans here that I want to go over. So the first one that I want to start with is you're offering the core plan as well, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, core, growth, and enterprise. But currently we have two starter packages or two entry-level packages for our customers to buy, and both of those packages currently only include the core plan. We still sell the growth and enterprise, just not in a package. It's going to be an a la carte if somebody wants that.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So let me go over the daily plan, the core plan real quick. So what this is one post per day on Facebook and Twitter. And this is, again, they can't see, it looks like an organic post. So the process that I explained is going to be the same with the content itself. So the content is going to be a sentence or two of unique specific content. For you guys who are familiar with SEO, this is truly unique and specific. It's not copied, shared, or recycled. So if you understand the inner workings of data server indexation, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. Again, don't want to bore you with a bunch of tech talk, but that's very important to have, because a lot of times like Discount Tire is a real big one. They've got 800 locations. You go to their webpage, it's all the same content. Well, it only gets indexed once, which is not helpful. It's just not helpful. So it's unique specific content, a sentence or two that our writers create. They all come with trending hashtags, or if your customer has hashtags that they want to use, we can also take those into account as well. They all come with an image. They also all come with a link back to web-related articles or the customer's website. And we also post about industry-related blogs as well. And that's one post per day on Facebook and Twitter. Okay, that's the core plan. Now, here's the thing. The core plan is great. However, there's not going to be a lot of traffic. Organic growth on the networks has been non-existent for quite some time now. This is where the other packages that we offer really come into play. The growth plan and the enterprise plan. And we also have a content as king plan. I'm not sure, Jeremy, if you're familiar with that one, but it's very similar to the growth plan. So let me just give you a rundown of what's included there. So the content as king plan, it's 2 daily posts on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and then 2 weekly posts to Instagram, and then 1 monthly blog. And that one is, our base price is $297, and then you guys have the discount on that. This one is good for people who already have an outreach plan for more visibility in place. It's not going to get them any more traffic unless they're doing something on their own, or they're having us or someone else do that piece for them. So just keep that in mind. I know it seems like a lot more. However, once you understand the inner workings of how the visibility and outreach programs work, it'll make more sense. The growth plan is, and Jeremy, you mentioned this, this is our most popular package. So this is 2 daily posts to Facebook and Twitter, LinkedIn, and 2 weeks, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. This is 1 daily post to Facebook and Twitter, and then 1 daily post to your client's choice of Google, LinkedIn, or Pinterest. Okay, so it's one, you just pick which one you want, and I know people are going to say, well, it depends on the industry. LinkedIn is great if you're dealing with someone who's in the professional side of it and they want to grow that their network stream. So that is one that people will really kind of gravitate to, just because it's more set for people who are in that business or networking mindset. Google Plus, I know. People always say, well, it's a dead social media, and they're not wrong about that. They are correct. However, Google Plus has a much higher valued what's called link juice in the industry. Google loves Google. Google's the most used search engine by far over all the other ones combined, very, very easily. So with Google Plus, because we're looking at web pages, it has a certain indexation value that's going to want to push that more. So it does have some SEO value that's attached to it. Now, the most important thing with this is this campaign, the growth plan, it does include Facebook ads, which are extremely critical for growth visibility on network business pages. The reason why is because Facebook now is not going to allow those posts to show up in network timelines. So you basically have to pay to have any of your content seen unless the viewers are actually going to your page to find it. So what happens is you're going to find people who want to buy the growth plan, the daily plan, and they are going to expect traffic. It is impossible to do that unless they're adding on something else. This is why the growth plan is so valuable. Now, the enterprise plan, which is my favorite, this is 2 posts daily on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google+, 5 posts weekly to Instagram, and this also does include the Facebook ad campaign as well, 1 monthly blog, and then also a Twitter booster. Now, the Twitter booster is going to help push and get new followers. Now, Twitter has this weird thing where if people aren't interacting with the page correctly, they just start automatically dropping off the followers. So it's extremely important for Twitter that you're continually adding new people on to follow. And you tweet and retweet and tweet and retweet, so we try to capture those. So we gain up to 800 new followers a month with the Twitter Boost follower. So the enterprise plan is priced out at $497. That's without the discount that we talked about. Out a la carte, that prices out well over $800 monthly. So there's a significant value savings with that package by itself. But the enterprise plan, in my opinion, is definitely the way to go if your client has a budget for it. It's really, really crucial, and it's kind of just, we've already got it set up. You plug it in and just let it go to work, and you literally don't have to worry about your social media ever again. So that's kind of a brief breakdown on those. Whether I guess there was 4 packages that we discussed. Did you have any questions on that, gentlemen, that I can answer?
So yeah, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put those out now. You guys can put those into chat as well. I know that Lee covered a lot. So questions on the plans, the inner workings, maybe what clients what clients you guys have in mind, or if you have a question about what clients you think would fit this best.
Jeremy, I have a quick question.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is Timothy with Giver Marketing, and I would be one of those clients who would potentially utilize the white label service. Is that something that's offered in all of these plans, or is there a specific separate off-menu price point for that?
Yeah, good question. Hey, Tim, nice to meet you. Yeah, the way that the white label reseller program works is you can offer all the products and services that we offer as well. You would invoice your customers, bill your customers, and then they would channel through you their support needs, and then you'd be assigned a relationship manager, and you would funnel that information over to him. But other than that, everything that we have as a service, you have the availability to offer your clients.
Okay, so it's what you see is what you get. Okay, gotcha.
Correct. We have a lot of other programs outside the ones that we mentioned. So we've got a double daily plan. We also do the Facebook ad campaigns. We do offer also those the weekly or monthly blogs. So we have some other products that we certainly can. And we also offer the social media profile creation as well. It's just a one-time charge of $49 per network. So in a lot of cases, you might run into clients that don't have a Facebook or Twitter or Instagram page. We can set those up. Also, too, the other networks, we can add those on. So let's just say that you've got a client that wants Facebook, Twitter, and they want Instagram. Instagram, you can just add on for $19 a month. If they want us to post in Facebook groups, that's just $19 a month as an add-on. Same thing with Pinterest and LinkedIn as well. So they can still get daily postings on those. It's just $19 a month as an add-on to whatever plan that they pick.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you.
And then we did have a question in the chat box as well. Andy asked if we could repeat the standard retail pricing versus the Agora discount pricing. So, Andy, 3 plans. So the core plan, that is normally $99 a month. Agora offers it for $94. The growth plan, normally $299. Agora offers that for $280. The enterprise plan, $499 normally, and then $470 a month. And then in the packages, which you can find on the Agora Advantage enrollment page, in the social starter package and the enhanced social package, it includes the core plan, and that is actually $49.50 the first month. So exactly 50% off of the normal $99. So the first month in the package is half off, and then it goes to Agora's standard discount price of $94 per month thereafter. So I hope that answered your question. If you want to throw me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat box, let me know that took care of it for you. He said thank you. All right, good. Good question, Andy, and I'm happy to repeat that. Okay, what other questions do we have out there? All right, I'm gonna pick on a couple people because I know one of them. Troy, are you still with us? I believe one of your clients actually uses $99 social, correct? I think we still have Troy with us. Let me unmute you. Maybe let's try that. Troy, you there?
There you go. Yeah, I was muting myself as well. So
sorry about that.
I was double muted, and that's probably generally a good idea. Jesse with Ideal Furniture has been using it, and actually I was just on his site or his Facebook page, taking a look at it, and the content's great. I like a lot of that. We're actually in the process of kind of reevaluating so that we can figure out how we can improve actually getting conversions. Because at the moment he's gotten some likes. And that was part of the campaign that he was focused on before, was getting more likes on his Facebook page, but we need to get conversions going. And with furniture, this is really kind of the season because during tax season, this is a big time for furniture stores. So that's kind of where we're at right at the moment. But we're working with Taj, and so.
Perfect. Well, I just wanted to pick on you for a minute because I know when your clients that you've had for a while and has multiple other services with Agora use 99 Social, so I just wanted to kind of hear your feedback on that. We do have another question from Andy. Andy, let me go ahead and I think I muted you. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, and then you can ask your question. Okay, Andy, you should be unmuted now.
Okay, I kind of have laryngitis a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. No problem. We'll.
Okay. Basically, just wanted to know what I just typed up as far as I'm just starting off, or will be starting off in this, and I love this product. It looks great. I know a few smaller businesses. I'm in an area that has a lot of mom and pop or smaller businesses. So there's that aren't really social media aware of what they can do to increase their business. But also I know a few companies that are startups that are on a good pace as far as they're growing steadily. But if they really want to expand their social media presence, would you agree that the core and growth is either the way to go based on their budget?
Yeah, hey Andy, thanks for chiming in there. Now I can tell you that I've sold to both companies that had literally zero presence and others that had 50,000 followers on their page. So number one, the first thing we've got to do is we've got to establish a budget and then some type of expectation. Now, like I mentioned, the growth plan is a great starting point. it's easy to get them in the door. However, a lot of companies have the misconception that they're going to start having us do postings for them. They're going to start seeing traffic. Those days are gone. They are long, long gone. So initially, what I would do, and this is just the way that I sell and the way that I've been taught to sell by some of the best people in the industry. When I resold the product, which is very similar to what we're talking about here, or sold them directly, one of the mistakes that I made, and I quickly found out early on, is that if we're dealing with a company who's got a budget of $100, they're going to spend $100, and they're going to expect something from that $100. And the truth of the matter is that it's a foundation that you're building the rest of your campaign on. It is not, if you build a foundation, guess what? That's what it is. It's a foundation. It's nothing more. You can't build anything else. So you really have to look at it in that kind of thought process. What I started to do is I started to offer the content plan, the growth plan, and the enterprise plan solely. So when I was reselling, I would mark the enterprise plan up 100%. So I'd offer that at $12.99, $11.99. I'd charge them a setup fee on that. Same thing with the growth plan. I'd charge them $5.99 and put them on different contracts, because then they're actually going to see things. They're actually going to see movement. Their phone's going to ring. They're going to start to see traffic to the site. They're going to start to see likes, shares, and follows. But, unfortunately, this is not traditional marketing, and most of the customers in the market space, they don't have traditional products. They're advertising, they're looking for other ways of growth. And as we all know, everything is digital now. I recommend, this is completely up to you, is I would offer them the enterprise growth or the content plan, and then if they run into financial trouble, I would use the daily postings or core plan as kind of a retention piece to keep them on board. I know you're going through kind of a tougher time right now. What I recommend is, and normally I don't do this, but let's take it down to just the daily postings. That way at least you have something and the page is still fresh and relevant. Now, I don't know if I've gotten the SEO guys on here, but they will understand that once you start doing SEO and then you stop doing it, you get penalized for that. It's the same thing with social media optimization, and it works in the same fashion. If you start doing it, then quit, it's almost like you shouldn't have done it at all, because you don't look like you're serious. And believe me, there will be another company in that segment that's very close to them that's going to take up that space that they're not willing to provide content for anymore. So that's just, I don't know if that answers your question or helps you, but I guess a lot of it is looking on a bigger scale. But if you've got customers or businesses that want to sign up for the daily plan and that's what their budget is, by all means, sell as much of those as you can. Now, when you're selling those, I would give them a couple weeks, and I would come back to them and say, okay, so we've got the foundation built. Now let's look about trying to get more likes, shares, follows, comments. Remember, social media is just a large referral-based network. 70% of all referrals right now are via social media. And I didn't believe that when I first heard it, but I double-checked it and looked at it myself, and it's true. Now, I run a couple of localized bulletin boards. I live out in Arizona. I run a lot of localized bulletin boards. Now, the old days when people would say, hey, I need a plumber, or I'm new to the area, I need a new hairstylist, or I'm looking for a place to get the best steak in town, where do you recommend? Well, in the old days, I would just tell you, Andy, hey, just go down to the Masters over here. They're great. Well, you just go there. Maybe you have a bad experience. Well, now you get on the local bulletin board. You post it. Hey, I just moved into town. I need a plumber. Instead of going, hey, just call Bob. Here's his number. You can say, hey, here's his Facebook page. He's got 5-star reviews. You're going to call him. You can go through and look at him. So you just little things like that. Another thing that you can do too, if you do have a company that does have network pages, there's a site out there called Likealizer, likealizer.com. And you can go to that website for free, and you can type in their business name, and it will give you a breakdown and rank their presence on social media. And they can say, okay, this looks good, this is bad, you need help here. And you can use that as ammunition when you're selling these folks.
Oh, okay.
How do you, so L-I-K-E and then L-Y-Z-E-R, how do you spell Likealizer?
Good question. Spelling is not my strong point. I'm really good at math. It's just Likealizer. Yeah.
A-L-I-Z-E-R.
I got it.
I got it.
Yeah,
It's
Mike,
like
you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
like ALYZER.
Hey, Troy, would you mind popping that in the chat for everybody?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Lee. That's definitely, I think that would be helpful. So it kind of analyzes their current presence and where their business ranks on social media. So that's, I think that that's very similar. So we work with a company that does that we do online directory listings for, and they have sort of a similar to what you're talking about with Likealizer, where when we put in their business name, the name of their business and their zip code, it scans it, and it says, you are not present on this search engine. You are not present on this search engine. You are not present on this one. You are on this one, so on and so forth. And that's a great sales tool for everybody, when you're able to show the business owner a report and say, look, this is where you're ranking, or this is where you're not ranking, or this is where you can't be found, or this is where you can be found. Those are all eye openers for business owners, and they need to be aware of that type of stuff so that, we're able to help them paint that picture and just help them better realize that these things are important these days. We're not, back in the 90s where the internet wasn't just big old huge social media hub, and and if you weren't relevant on the internet back then, it didn't really hurt your business all that much. But the day that we live in now, it's not that way. If you can't be found online, or there's not some sort of presence, social or a presence at all, you're gonna have a hard time beating out your competition. You're gonna have a hard time increasing sales and getting new customers. So these things that, I'd say that the core services or some of the core products that Agora is offering, like $99 Social and Sotellus and Agora Business Compass and SEP, those are all essential things, and we're not breaking the bank here either. I mean, we've put together, which I believe are pretty affordable packages that fit together or fit in most people's budgets. And the reason why we've done a few different starter packages is because some people have less to spend, some people have more to spend, and then whether what we have on that package fully satisfies their needs. If it doesn't, then we go into the marketplace and we add a few things a la carte, to get them to where they need to be. So I really love $99 Social. It fits in great with Agora's overall model and what we're trying to help business owners with, and trying to train and teach you all. Is just to bring these types of things to light and let the business owners know. And again, it's not like it's a $5,000 a month, crazy marketing campaign or SEO. We're talking a few $100 a month for some very, very core essential items that will help their businesses succeed at a much higher level without having to spend on the higher level. Of course, they can, but they don't have to. So any other questions for Lee while we have him still on the phone? There are a couple of other things I want to share with you guys before we wrap up the call, but I just want to make sure that you guys get a good opportunity to talk with Lee here.
Yeah, just one. The daily plan is that the $19.99 per month thing?
The $99.
Right. So
or $19.99.
Yeah. So the add-ons. So if someone purchases the core daily plan, they can add on another network for only $19 a month for the same daily postings. That'll be LinkedIn, Pinterest, or Google+.
Oh, okay. That's an add-on. All right. But they have to basically start with the core plan, right?
Yes, correct. To get those as add-ons. If you run to a client that just wants like a standalone, like LinkedIn, they don't want anything else, they just want LinkedIn, that's still $99 a month for unique specific content. Same thing with Pinterest. Same thing with Twitter, if they just want Twitter by itself, or if they just want a Google Plus by itself.
Right. Well, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that anyway, but okay. You might as well take everything you can get for it, correct?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If it's included, then I would say offer. Make sure that they're getting it all, and whether they are if they're mainly interested in one social media platform over the other, that's great. Odds are it's already included in here. You got the major ones covered: Facebook, Twitter, and then just some of the additional add-ons, like you were saying, would be Instagram or Pinterest and stuff. So But
Right.
Facebook obviously is the most important. Every one of their packages includes Facebook and Twitter, which are the two biggest social medias out there. So.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. Great questions. Good to hear from you. All right, and then Troy Bear also was so kind as to put the Likealizer, so it's LikeALYzer.com, and that is in the chat box. So if you guys want to go ahead and grab that, and I'll be making note and saving that as well. So don't worry if you don't get it right now. Any other questions that we have out there for Lee? Okay, well, hey, Lee, I just want to say thank you so much for spending some time with us today and going over the plans. We love working with you guys. We're really excited to continue to offer those in the packages and just see that grow and see the overall satisfaction of our customers grow, and just overall excited. So thank you very much for taking a little bit of time today with us.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. I just want to say thanks, everyone, for being on the call. And if you've got direct questions, feel free to contact me personally. I'm definitely here to help. You know, if you guys aren't making money, we're not making money. It's just one of those things. You know, I've got a lot of knowledge when it comes to this and other things when it comes to digital marketing. So if you've got specific questions, or even if you need help selling a customer, I'm more than happy to do that as well.
Thank you, Lee. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure.